Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are kind of like reacting and looking forward to Game 4 of the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics series. This series has not been close. Well, it has been close for the first two games, but the third game, that was an embarrassment. We're going to look at all three games just a little bit when we're talking about in the future. Then we're talking about what happens when I believe the Boston Celtics will lose this series. Obviously, no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. And the way it's looking, I don't think that the Boston Celtics will overcome that. They're currently down 3-0, as we do know, to the Miami Heat. We're going to be talking about it. But before we talk about it, guys, make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother, Layland the Great Vlogs. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Ryan the Great RTG. And make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go right into the video. So starting off, we're going to look at Game 1 here. Pretty evenly matched game. Pretty good game from the Boston Celtics. Tatum, 30 points, 9 for 17 from the field. Brown could have shot a little better from three. I believe Boston could have shot a lot better from three this game. Only 34%. Brown, definitely someone to look at here. He only shot 1 for 6 from three. Boston did end up losing by 7 points in this game, so if he would have made 2 or more threes, we could have a different outcome. He had 22 points, shot the ball relatively well, 10 for 21, just below 50%. You can't really complain about that. Solid games for everybody else. Robert Williams shot a perfect 6 for 6 from the field. Marcus Smart, honestly, his shooting efficiency in this series has not been amazing. Not happy with that, but he did have a double-double, 13 points and 11 assists. If he can shoot the ball a little bit better, I think there could be a different outcome in these first 3 games, but obviously we will never know. The bench, solid from them. Malcolm Brogdon doing what he does, 6th man of the year, 19 points, 50% from the field. Derek White, I'm a big fan of Derek White. What do you call it? He had, I believe, 14 off the bench. Hold on. I just lost all my stats, which is not good at all. Okay, he had actually 11 off the bench. Sorry, 4 for 6 for shooting, 3 for 5 from 3. Solid game from him. But at the end of the day, I think that this is obviously the third quarter where the Boston Celtics collapsed. The Celtics won the first, second, and fourth quarter. Normally, when you win 3 quarters as a team, that outscoring another team in 3 quarters, then you're going to win the game. Not in this case. Miami outscored Boston in the third quarter, 46-25. That's a 21-point deficit right there. And then in the fourth quarter, their inability to stop Jimmy Butler, who ended up with 35 points, 12 for 25 from the field. Also, I'm loving Miami's balance of scoring in these games. Adebayo, 20, Vincent, 20, Strus, 15. Martin, 15 off the bench. Lowry, 15 off the bench. I am really loving the way that they are able to, move the ball around and get other guys scoring, because a lot of these guys are undrafted. Let's remember. So the fact that they're able to get these guys involved, and Eric Spoelstra, I would give some credit to him, making sure these guys do get open shots, evidently shooting 51% from 3 and 54% overall. You got to give some credit to the coach there on making sure they got open shots. Jimmy Butler, though, this man is absolutely dominant. In 43 minutes, the things that he was able to do, will his team away. And then that corner shot, goodness gracious. He cannot miss from the corner on the jumper. Goodness gracious. This man is unstoppable from there. That's game 1. Really, it was a ultimately great, evenly matched game with pretty much the same stats and the same amount of scoring. Other than the third quarter, I think Boston just let them get away there in the third quarter, and then their inability to stop Jimmy Butler in clutch time ultimately cost them the game. In game 2, Miami Heat ended up winning 111-105 here. Now, once again, pretty even match game. Butler, 27. Adebayo, 22. Vincent, only 9 points this game. Had a pretty not too great night shooting. 11 from Strus. Caleb Martin, 25 off the bench, which is really solid for him. I think that was a reason. Bench points, Miami. I was able to win. Duncan Robinson, who's played a pretty good series so far, 15 for him off the bench. And then on the other side, Tatum, 34 points. Al Horford, his inefficiency, I do believe, cost Boston in this game. He only shot 1 for 5 from the field. Robert Williams, again, perfect 5 for 5 from the field. Jaylen Brown, once again, shooting efficiency, a little bit of a problem in this series. In 2 out of the 3 games, he's not shot the ball too well. And obviously now in this game, did not shoot the 3 balls well either. Last game, in game 1, 1 for 6. Now this game, 1 for 7, and overall 7 for 23. Bench points were a little solid. Grant Williams, 9 points. Brogdon, 13. Derek White, 11. So Solid game for both teams, but I do believe that something that really pulled it away, obviously the fourth quarter when Miami outscored Boston 36-22. It always feels like that one quarter for Miami, they just kind of pull away. And in the game 3, it was all the quarters. But, I mean, once again, pretty even match game. But if we go down to the rebounding section, it is pretty, that's the largest deficit you'll see. Boston, they had 35 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, and 29 defensive rebounds. Miami, 45 rebounds overall, 11 offensive rebounds, 34 defensive rebounds. What is something that you need in the playoffs? Aggression. You need aggression to win these games, especially in the conference finals, which is the highest level of competition. Other than the NBA finals, is the highest level of competition in the playoffs. You need aggression to, be able to win games and, prove your dominance to the other team. The Boston Celtics, in my opinion, did not do that. Once again, Jimmy Butler, absolutely dominant. They cannot defend him from that corner. Their inability to double him, in my opinion, is not that amazing at all. He does not shoot threes. In this game, he shot 0 for 1 from 3. And the fact that he was still able to have 27 points, shooting 12 for 25 from the field, all from one corner, is not okay to me. I do blame that on Joe Mazzulla. The fact that he was not able to create a defense to set up against Jimmy Butler. I would have honestly set up a 2-3 zone and have the guy who's defending the top of the key on the left side come in and defend Butler with the guy who's on the block, in my opinion. Make someone else beat you. If you don't want Jimmy Butler to beat you because he's expected to beat you. You want to make somebody else beat you. But Butler has beat them throughout this whole series, except for Game 3. The whole team kind of beat them there, which is now we're going to talk about now. If there was ever a time that I wanted to see a mercy rule in a basketball game, it was this one. Game 3. Miami just absolutely dominated them. If you're Boston, they have not defended the perimeter well in the series. But when you let a team shoot 54% from 3, you're not going to win too many basketball games. They shot 56% overall. Boston also dominated the rebounds. I talked about rebounding. Boston out-rebounded them by 25. Miami didn't even need the rebound. You want to know why? Because every single one of their shots were going in. Assists, I've given Miami a lot of credit in these playoffs for playing more as a team. Boston matched them in assists with 25. Boston had 10 more points in the paint that they did. They had the same amount of fast break points. But really, the thing that it comes down to, Miami, they might have taught an assist, but they played a lot better basketball, a lot better team basketball. If you look at the stat sheet, everybody had a good amount of points. Butler only had 16. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but guys like Gabe Vincent, who ended up with 29 points, 11 for 14 overall from the field, he was really able to step up. And then Adebayo, 13 points. He shot 80% from the field. Strus, only 10 points for him. Then off the bench, they had a really good bench game. Duncan Robinson, who I believe stepped up in the last 2 games, 22 points for him. Caleb Martin, 18 points off the bench. These are guys that are able to step up and play when Miami needs them. If a guy like Butler's being defended really well, he's being doubled. Boston, it really doesn't seem like they have that guy that can step up. Really, when Tatum and Brown are not shooting well, which is evident here, Tatum, he had 14 points, 6 for 18 from the field. Brown, who has shot the ball awful, especially from 3, he didn't even make 1 3 this game. He had 12 points, 6 for 17 from the field. It doesn't really seem like that Boston has that guy that can step up and, help this team win when they need it. Miami, give them credit there. They have those guys that can step up, like a Vincent, like a Strus, like a Adebayo, like a Duncan Robinson off the bench. They have these guys that can step up. Who do I kind of blame this on? I honestly blame Game 3 on Joe Mazzulla. He made no adjustments to make sure Boston, got shots off. It just seemed like he gave up after the first half. It just looked like he gave up. He didn't make any adjustments to make sure Boston, got open shots. They just did an awful job of defending the 3 as well. They had no perimeter defense. I do blame some of the players for not hustling in the second half. I feel like just Boston gave up entirely. In the fourth quarter, Mazzulla literally started putting in his bench players. They just gave up. And that was really, really a sad sight to see. But honestly, when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not. And Miami was hot. But the one thing that you could do, Mazzulla, is at least try to make some adjustments to make sure that they don't make these sort of shots. Or at least try and have your team make shots. If you can't... stop them from making shots, then you have to have your team make shots. That's where I put the blame on Joe Mazzulla here. He gave the Celtics really no chance to create open shots or get fouled as going to the rim, try and get points without the clock moving. That's a good option in my opinion. Mazzulla didn't do that, and he's got to start doing that. But now Boston's done. They are down 3-0. I don't believe they're coming back into the series. I think Miami will sweep. They're going... they're staying home for this next game, and if not, they go to Boston for Game 5, back to Miami for Game 6. They're bound to win one of these next 3 games. I can't see Boston taking this to 7 games at all, and it's really too late to make any, huge adjustments. I know that it's first to 4, but, everybody knows that you're not going to win every game. Not even some of the best teams in the NBA don't, win 4 straight every few months, if what I'm saying is making sense. But I think this series is over, and the Celtics have really embarrassed themselves. Do I think Mazzulla should be fired? Maybe. I'm not so sure yet. I have to see what happens in Game 4. If it looks like he gave up and didn't make any adjustments from the first 3 games, then yeah, I'm getting rid of him. I'm trying to bring in somebody like a Budenholzer or something like that. But if he, if I could see the effort that he put into his game plan in Game 4, then I'd consider keeping him around. He's only a rookie coach. We can't really expect much from him. But then again, Ime Udoka brought them to the NBA Finals in his first year. So we'll have to see. We will have to see what happens in Game 4. But that'll do it for this video, guys. Make sure you subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Liam the Great blogs. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Ryan the Great RTG. And make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.